Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today I am very excited to be discussing some early leaks and news for Call of Duty 2020. This information is coming from two separate leakers who have a long history of accurately leaking Call of Duty stuff early, and I'm of course talking about the Gaming Revolution and Long Sensation. You've probably heard their names before because over the past year or so, they've been leaking pretty much everything about Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and most of it came out true, and now they're doing the same thing for Call of Duty 2020, otherwise known as Call of Duty Black Ops. What I'm going to be doing in this video is covering everything that we know about the game so far, as well as discussing the leaks and the rumors, and I'll do my best to keep everything as concise as possible, but there's definitely a lot to go over, so buckle in, sit back and relax, because it's probably going to be a much longer video than usual. As always, when it comes to discussing leaks and rumors, take everything in this video with a grain of salt, because a lot of this is subject to change, but remember that the sources of this information are very credible, and they have been accurately leaking us information for years now. With the introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and discuss everything that we currently know about Call of Duty 2020, including, of course, campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. So according to the leaks, the game is going to be another Black Ops title. Right now, the codename that they're using at Treyarch is Project Zeus, but the actual title of the game is either going to be Black Ops or Call of Duty Black Ops 5. Right now, they're still debating on what to call the game because it's a bit tricky, right? On one hand, they want to just call it Black Ops, sort of similar to how they called 2019's game Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but there's already a game called Call of Duty Black Ops, so I don't really see how that could work. If they were to call the game Black Ops 5, that would make a lot of sense, but given the fact that the game is rumored to be a reboot, sort of similar to how Modern Warfare 2019 is a reboot, then it would be a little bit off-putting to call the game Black Ops 5 while also having it basically just be a reboot of Black Ops 1. You can see how confusing this is and why they're having a hard time actually naming the game, but titles and names aside, like I mentioned, Call of Duty 2020 is going to be a reboot of Black Ops. Much like with Modern Warfare 2019, Call of Duty 2020 is going to be a very gritty and realistic game, and it's going to be set in the Cold War and the Vietnam War. The leaks are saying that the game is going to have a much heavier focus on real-life events, and it's going to primarily be set in Vietnam, as compared to the original Black Ops game, which had some Vietnam in it, but it was mostly themed around the Cold War. Well, it's going to be the opposite. This game is going to be heavily focused on Vietnam, with a little bit of Cold War sprinkled in. The campaign is said to be even darker and more shocking than the Modern Warfare campaign, but just like with the Modern Warfare campaign, we're also going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces. Both Frank Woods and Alex Mason are going to be in the game, but we're also going to be seeing the Vietnam War from many different perspectives, including the United States, the South Vietnamese, as well as the Viet Cong. Right now, not a lot is known about the game's story, or even if it is, they're not giving us that information, which is good, because obviously we don't want the story to be spoiled before we can even play it, but the big takeaways are this. It's going to be set in the Vietnam War with a little bit of Cold War as well. There will be returning characters like Frank Woods and Alex Mason, and the campaign is going to be focused on real-life events and be way darker and more gritty than pretty much any other Call of Duty campaign ever. One final note is that the leaks are suggesting that even though we're going to have returning characters like Woods and Mason, the original voice actors are not going to be involved for one reason or another. So we're going to see Frank Woods, for example, but James C. Burns is not going to be playing him, and in fact, he's now posting to Twitter saying that he himself is going to be leaking some Call of Duty 2020 news, which is both hilarious as well as interesting, but above all else, it does confirm the leak that he has nothing to do with the game itself, because he obviously would not be discussing the game early if he was actually working on it with Treyarch. Now, moving along from campaign to multiplayer, we have some very interesting information to go over here. So we've already established that the setting and the theme are going to be Vietnam/Cold War, but the multiplayer itself is going to be a lot different than what a lot of us probably expected. Right now, the leaks are saying that Call of Duty 2020 is going to be running off the same engine that was used to create Modern Warfare, and thus it's probably going to have a very similar feel. Now, if we can go back in time here for a second, just to kind of recap everybody here, what happened was way back in the day, Infinity Ward basically took the Quake engine and modified it a bunch, and they used that engine to create Call of Duty 4 in 2007. Well, 1 year later, in 2008, Treyarch decided to take that same engine that Infinity Ward made for COD 4 and use it for World at War, but they modified it a bit to make it a little bit different. After that, the two basically split off entirely. Infinity Ward kept modifying their version of the engine with each of their games, and Treyarch kept modifying their version of the engine with each one of their games. And over time, what resulted is the Treyarch games had a very different feel as compared to the Infinity Ward games, right? Well, this time around, it appears that's not going to be the case, because they're going to be using the exact same engine that Infinity Ward used for Modern Warfare, so Call of Duty 2020 is likely going to have a very similar feel in terms of movement and gunplay. I believe this is likely due to the fact that Treyarch wasn't even originally supposed to be working on this game. Most of you already know this, but just in case some of you don't, the original plan for Call of Duty 2020 was for Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software to co-develop a Cold War themed game, but creative differences between the studios got so bad that Activision had to step in and appoint Treyarch as the lead developer, with only 9 months to go before the game launches. This means that Treyarch is basically scrambling to catch everything up and redesign the game to fit their vision, and they have a very short window of time to do so. What makes matters even worse would be the coronavirus, right? Obviously, that's big news right now, and because of that virus and everything that's happening over in California, most, if not all, of the Treyarch dev team are currently working from home, so yeah, development for this game has been a complete mess, and apparently it's only getting worse due to the fact that people aren't even allowed at the studio right now, and it's kind of just leaving us all wondering what the heck is the final product going to be like. It's probably going to be really rough, but according to playtesters, the game is fun, and it's getting good reviews from the playtesters. They're enjoying it, but they're so far behind in development right now that a lot of the multiplayer maps that the playtesters are playing on don't even have textures, right? I'm sure you guys have seen an untextured map before. This is basically the kind of map that the playtesters are playing on right now. So yeah, it's not exactly a good representation of what the maps are going to be like, but word is the playtesters are finding the core gameplay experience to be enjoyable, which is definitely some good news. Now, speaking of the core gameplay experience, let's go ahead and discuss that next. Right now, the plan for Call of Duty 2020 is to go with manual healing, just like with what we saw in Black Ops 4. Now, it's important to note that the leaks are saying that this is not set in stone as of right now. They could revert back to automatic health regeneration and have no manual healing, or maybe go back to automatic health regeneration and have some healing items like we see with Modern Warfare. That's all possible. That is all very possible, but right now, the playtesters are playing with manual healing. The maps themselves, even though they're untextured, they are said to be the traditional 3-lane style maps that Treyarch games are known for, but they are also going to be a lot bigger than what we saw with Black Ops 4. On top of that, 32v32 Ground War is said to be returning with Call of Duty 2020, tanks and all. So if you enjoy Ground War and Modern Warfare, rest assured it's apparently going to be in Call of Duty 2020 as well, but with a Vietnam theme. Now, if you're wondering about specialists, which is a valid question considering the last two Treyarch games have had specialists, apparently they're not going to be in the game, and rather, they're just going to bring over the operator system that we currently see within Modern Warfare. So basically picture the exact same system, but with a bunch of Black Ops themed characters, and then of course a bunch of skins for each one of those characters. No special abilities, nothing like that, just different characters for us to choose from, and yeah, it definitely sounds pretty interesting, but unfortunately, we don't know anything about the health pools or the time to kill. Right now, based on what we know, the game sort of sounds like a Vietnam-themed Black Ops 4, but with no specialists, but we have no idea if the game is going to have 150 base health or anything like that. Traditionally, Treyarch games have a slower time to kill than the Infinity Ward games. I mean, definitely Black Ops 4, but even going to Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, with the way the engine worked, it just felt like the time to kill was a lot slower than in games like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, but once again, Call of Duty 2020 is going to be running on the exact same engine as Modern Warfare, so I suppose time will tell. We're going to have to wait for more information regarding that. Moving along here to kill streaks, we have a number of them that were leaked to us, but not really anything crazy. We know that the UAV and the counter UAV are going to be returning along with the flamethrower, and they're also going to be adding some sort of flat guns style kill streak, like remember that from Call of Duty World War II? Apparently a streak like that is going to be in the game as well, which will destroy a bunch of enemy air support, but other than that, not really a whole lot is known about the kill streaks in the game, but I imagine we're going to learn more over the course of the coming months, and hopefully we learn more about the multiplayer in general, because unfortunately unfortunately, that pretty much does it for all the multiplayer news. We have a little bit of info, right? We know that the game is going to have manual healing, it's going to be set in Vietnam, we know that it's going to have traditional Treyarch-style maps as well as ground war maps, but other than that, we really don't have a ton of info on the multiplayer as of right now. There is some information to discuss surrounding the monetization and business models for the multiplayer, but we're going to be discussing that towards the end of the video, and for right now, we're going to jump into some zombies information. So Call of Duty 2020 will of course have zombies. It wouldn't be a Treyarch game without them, but the Treyarch zombies experience is going to be a lot different than what we're used to. This is due to a couple of things. Number one, the vision they have for zombies this year is to make it a lot darker, a lot grittier, and more realistic, or at least as realistic as zombies can be. They want it to be less cartoony, more down to earth, more grounded, and just a lot grittier and darker in general. There will still be perks and pack-a-punch and things like that, but the plan is to have zombies be set in Vietnam and feature a whole new story, and as such, they want that story to be darker and feel a lot different than the stories that they've done in the past. I'm sure that every zombies fan watching this video knows that Jason Blundell has left Treyarch, and Lee Ross, who used to head the Infinite Warfare Zombies mode, is now over at Treyarch. So basically, there's going to be a whole new story as well as a whole new setting, and like I said many times, it's going to be a lot darker and grittier than what we're used to with Treyarch zombies. There is also talk of a Zombies Season Pass for Call of Duty 2020, so let's go ahead and wrap up today's video by talking about the monetization model that they are currently discussing over at Treyarch. So right now, the plan is for multiplayer DLC maps to be free for everybody, just like they are with Modern Warfare. There will also be no supply drops in the game of any kind, which likely means we're going to see the return of the Battle Pass system. The game itself, obviously, is going to be a full-priced $60 title like every other Call of Duty game is. Some people have been wondering if maybe they would go free-to-play after the success of Warzone, but no, it's going to actually be a full-priced game, and it's not going to have a Battle Royale mode of any kind. This makes a ton of sense given the fact that Warzone is free to play and it's likely going to be the final Battle Royale game to release, and it wouldn't be surprising at all if aspects of Call of Duty 2020 were to be added to Warzone after the game comes out. But going back to the Zombie Season Pass, however, that may actually be a thing with this game. If we go back to Black Ops 4, there was going to be a DLC 5 for that game, which included a bunch of zombies maps being remastered, including Transit, right? But that DLC never saw the light of day. Well, the leaks are suggesting that those maps that they were going to release for Black Ops 4 are likely just going to be added into Call of Duty 2020. The leaks are suggesting that Transit will be on disc for Call of Duty 2020, and I personally think that's a really interesting idea because they can make the maps so much better. People seem to really either love or hate Transit back in the day, but the reasons why most people hated the map were because of the hardware limitations, right? I mean, that's why there was so much fog and lava everywhere. It's because the old Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s couldn't handle everything that Treyarch wanted to do with this essentially open world zombies map. But now that we have the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4, and of course the new consoles that are coming this holiday season, this seems like the perfect time to try out another massive Call of Duty Zombies map. But outside of the on-disc maps, however, it looks like we may be having a Zombies Season Pass, and this is because Zombies maps themselves are a lot more complex, time-consuming, and expensive to make as compared to the multiplayer maps. If you think about it, Zombies maps have a lot of moving parts. I mean, we're talking about paid voice actors and a writing team and a cinematics team, cutscenes, Easter eggs, all sorts of stuff is going on with each one of these Zombies maps. So right now it looks like that DLC Zombies maps for Call of Duty 2020 could be locked behind a paywall, and I am very interested to see how that is going to play out and how the community is going to react to it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much does it, I suppose. I mean, we've covered campaign, multiplayer, as well as zombies. That's pretty much everything that we currently know about Call of Duty 2020. And according to Long Sensation, the official reveal for the game is going to be in May. Black Ops 4 was revealed in March, so I was kind of hopeful that we would get some early teasers, but like I mentioned, the development for this game has been all over the place, so they likely need the extra couple of months to really polish up the game before teasing it to the public. And as always, I will do my best to keep you guys posted with as much information about COD 2020 as possible, but for right now, I'm going to wrap up today's video and ask you guys, what do you think so far? Based on what we know, based on these leaks and the rumors, again, take it with a pinch of salt, but based on what we discussed here in this video, what do you think about Call of Duty 2020? Leave your thoughts and feedback down in the comments. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider leaving it a like, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.